Boom, round two here from East West Digital Marketing. You guys jump back on. I saw there were a lot of people on this morning wanting to hear what we're talking about today. Sorry for the little mishap. We were trying to use a new camera, and that new camera did not have audio. So hopefully you guys will jump back on here real quick and listen up to today's topic. I was on the road this past weekend. California, only my second time in California. I was visiting with Stanford University wrestling staff, Coach Jason Borelli out there. Shout out to him. Cal Poly University wrestling staff, John Cerritos and Mike Hatcher, two guys that were formerly on my staff at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Cool town, San Luis Obispo, one of the coolest college campuses I've ever been to. And then went down to Fresno State University, Coach Troy Steiner, Izzy Silva, former Mock, there in Chattanooga, but great things going on at Fresno State as well. So the topic today is this. So the topic today is layaway versus credit card success. Now, true story, I can remember being a kid, and in July, my mom would take us to Goodies. Yes, it was Goodies. We were super fashionable. And we would go to Goodies in July, and we would pick out all these clothes for school, do our school shopping. And then my mom would say this: we wouldn't take any of the clothes with us. It was like Debbie Downer, man. It was super depressing because we would pick out all these clothes, and then my mom, instead of going to the front of the store and going through the cash, my mom's actually watching today. She can validate these true stories. But instead of going to the front of the store and checking out at the cash register, we'd go to the back of the store where this lady was, and there was this counter, and they would actually take your clothes. And my mom would say, well, we're going to put them on layaway, and then we'll get them right before school starts. And what layaway was this: it was this payment plan where you would pick out this stuff, you would make a deposit, and then you would come back, and as you earned income, you would pay off those clothes. And then right before school started, somehow miraculously, my parents would pay those clothes off, and then my brother and I'd have all these stylish, cool clothes from Goodies ready to go at elementary, junior high, and high school. Now today, layaway is not cool. I don't even think layaway is available, because today, if you want something, here's what you do. You go school shopping. In the back of your mind, you know you don't have the money and you've not earned the money to pay for these things. But instead of going to the back of the store and putting it on layaway, you just pull out this little plastic piece in your wallet and you go through the checkout line and you sort of pay for it. And then you take those clothes and you're really cool and you wear them. Here's the devastating part. By the time you get those clothes paid for, you're tired of those clothes. Now, how does this apply to the sports world today? I believe we have bought the lie in the sports world. We've bought the lie as parents. We've bought the lie as coaches that credit card success is possible in the sports world. Because here's what I see us doing. I see us making a lot of effort to almost purchase success. We try to buy it. I mean, we're going to get our 6-year-old the best lessons, and we're going to get him on the best team, and we're going to do all these things. And if your goal is immediate success, I mean, if 6-year-old baseball is like, that's your end deal, then here's what you got to do. You got to go really hard at 6 years old. Now, if 6-year-old baseball is your end deal in the sports world for your child, let's take a time out. I know some really good counselors. We probably need to get you in to see one, because that's just screwed up. All right. 6-year-old baseball is not the end goal. All right. It's much bigger than that. Hopefully baseball is not the end goal. It's bigger than that. So today, here's what I want us to do. Look at how this applies to the sports world and parents specifically. And I want to share with you what I'm going to call it like 2 truths and a lie. You ever play that game? Kind of an icebreaker. 2 truths and a lie. Here's the first truth. Success always costs something. Success is never free. It always costs. I say there's really 3 things. It's struggle, it's sacrifice, and it's specifics that success takes. But here's the deal. Success does cost something. It costs time. It costs energy. It costs effort. It costs enthusiasm. It costs setbacks. It costs struggle. It costs all of these different things. But here's what's happening in our sports world today. We try to bypass much of that. I mean, we don't want our child to have to struggle because it hurts us. Listen to me. I have 4 children. Gave one of them a spanking before school today. I don't like watching my children struggle. But here's what I'm wise enough to understand. Oftentimes those struggles are the things that are going to produce in my children the attributes that are going to allow them to be successful. And sometimes that struggle is like layaway. We're just making deposits into these things and knowing that someday we're going to reap the benefit of allowing them to walk through those things. So the first truth is this: success is going to cost something. And it's not going to be immediate. It's going to take time, energy, effort, enthusiasm, all these different things. Here's the second thing. Success is more than a win or a loss. Let's say that again. Success is more than a win or a loss. If the only way you're defining and determining success is by a win or a loss, you're going to be disappointed your whole life because you're going to have setbacks and losses. Success is so much more. I just wrote this morning, and I'm going to read it verbatim. This is a pretty good sentence. You ready? Success is this: it's when what we value is produced through what we are doing. Success. It's when what we value most is produced through what we are doing. So here's my question for you, parents. What do you really value? If I were to give you something and you were to write down, hey, here are the things I value the most. These are the attributes I want my son or daughter to leave our home with when they go to walk on their own 2 feet. What are those things you value most? And once you've identified those things, then you begin to ask yourself the question, is what we're doing, how we're investing our time, energy, money, all these different things, is it working toward producing those qualities that we value most? Because if it's not, then we need to change directions a little bit. And here's my challenge to you. If the only way we measure success is batting average and matches won and things like that, we are setting our kids up for a pretty shallow existence. Our identity cannot be found in those things alone. We have got to value things that are more important than just outcomes. And if we do value the right things, here's what I believe: you're going to set your kids up for really good outcomes, because we've said it before on these videos. We're seeing kids today with gifts and skills that get them to a room that their character won't allow them to stay. And our role as parents is to produce in our children the character that whatever room they get to, they would actually be able to stay, because we've given them the stay power and the tools necessary to do that. So 2 truths: success does cost something. All right. It's going to cost you something. You're going to have to struggle and sacrifice and spend time and energy and things like that. The second truth is this: success is more than a win or a loss. We've got to make sure we're measuring success in different forms. Now, here's the lie. Parents cannot purchase this for their child. Or here's the lie. We believe that we can purchase this for our child. So here's what we do. We buy them the nicest bat. Listen, at 6 years old, you don't need a good bat. You just need a bunch of balls, and you need a bat and a tee, whatever, and your dad pitching to you. You do not have to buy an expensive bat. It's a lie. You do not have to be on the best team at 7 years old. You don't have to play travel ball. You don't necessarily have to get lessons at 8 years old in order to improve in sport. Because if you try all of those things, there is no guarantee your kid is still going to make it and become that great athlete that you want them to become. I was reading an article a while back, and the article was this. It was for parents, and it was how to produce a great athlete. If our objective and goal in our lives as parents is to produce a great athlete, we shouldn't categorize ourselves as parents. That is not our role. Our role is not to produce great athletes. Our role is to produce young men and young women who can walk on their own 2 feet, independent of us, and I always add in, hopefully dependent on who God is and who Jesus Christ is. So that's my goal as a parent. It's not to raise a great athlete. I don't care. Maybe it's in their cards, maybe it's not. So the truths are this: success costs something. Success is not just a win or a loss. The lie is this: parents, you cannot purchase that success for your child. No lesson, no travel team, no elite practice can actually buy success. Success is intrinsically driven. Our goal is to give them the tools and the character necessary to choose the path, even when it's difficult, that will lead them to success. So when the journey produces, either good or bad, that which we value most, we call that success. Now, danger zone. For parents, here's what happens. We get so consumed with what matters now, we lose sight of what matters most. As you navigate this sports journey, as a husband and a wife, as a family, constantly remind yourself of what matters most. You know what will keep you from yelling at a little league game and making yourself look ignorant? Focus on what matters most. It's not a big deal. They just got pulled. They're sitting the bench at a 7-year-old game. Just get them a sweet tart sucker afterwards and they'll be fine. Okay. It'll also maybe produce something in them that's important. So parents, make sure we determine what we value most. And then here's what we have to choose to do. Every single day, once we've determined what we value most, those things we want in our children when they leave our home, we have to make deposits into those accounts daily. And over time, we will see and experience the fruit of our labor. We cannot put this on a credit card. There are days, I promise you, I wish I could put parenting on a credit card because I absolutely stink at it. I'm impatient. I'm not good, all these different things. Parenting, developing these things in our young people, it's like the layaway, man. We're making deposits